Good day traders, hope you guys are well. Just been taking my dogs here for a walk and I'll just show you them there. Here's the one over here. Sophie, hey, come here. Sophie, steady. Okay, so I'm just taking my dogs for a walk here, and what I want to talk about is strategy and mindset behind the strategy. And the thing is, you'll watch a lot of YouTubers who are posting strategies, and it gets a bit confusing on which strategy to use. So you might use one strategy one day and then try something else the next day, and you keep going in a vicious hamster wheel of strategies. Or you might try a strategy for a week or two, or even 3 or 4 trades in a row. You might win, and then after one loss you'll basically ditch the strategy and try something else. And this is a vicious cycle that even myself, it's something that I fell into as well. It's a vicious hamster wheel, and the only way for you to really make profits in these markets is to actually stick to the same system. It's vital that you actually do that, because what will often happen is you'll take a trade, you'll take 3, 4, say the strategy works 3 times in a row, and then you'll take a loss on it, and then you'll lose confidence on that strategy or on that system, and then you'll ditch it, and then you might revenge trade and blow your account based on that one loss. And then the next day you'll wake up and you'll let the markets play out for the day, and you'll see that exact strategy would have actually made you a huge profit. And then you kick yourself in the head, in the foot, and you wish you just carried on trading that system, but you don't. You actually look for another system anyway. So the point of this video is that try your best to stick to the same system. If you look at Mark Douglas, he was a professional trader and he's a trading psychologist, and he talks about trying one system for a sample size of at least 20 trades in a row, and then looking at the results after 20 trades. Now obviously you've got to use the same parameters. You've got to trade the exact same setup, like the setup that I've been showing you on the divergence and the second or third pop out on the band. I'm focusing on that second pop out on the bands and the divergence and price coming off a key level or a key order block. So you've got to trade that exact same setup and have a sample size. Try it for 20 trades and see the results with the same risk, with the same stop loss size. All of that has to be exactly the same. Because it's like, for example, if you take, say now for example you the delivery guy at work, and say now your boss came to you and said, we're going to change every day we're going to put you in a new position. So one day you're going to be the delivery guy, the next day you're going to be the janitor, the next day we're going to make you the CEO, the next day we're going to put you an admin, the next day we're going to make you the guy who sorts out the stock. The next day we're going to put you on the machines. Now what's going to happen is you as an employee are never going to be consistent, and the business won't run efficiently because you are not actually doing the same thing over and over again each day. It's like whenever you start a new job, employees quickly find out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then they keep you in the same role because it makes the business efficient. So what you got to actually do is, it's the same thing in trading. In your trading business, your strategy has to stay the exact same way. You have to trade the same setup over and over again, the same time frame, the same time of day. Like I'm primarily focused on the London session, trading the Nasdaq, because I don't want to trade. A big secret to my success in trading is that I trade the Nasdaq, but I don't trade it during the US session because there's a lot of news. So I only trade it during the actual London session because there's no news during that session. So everything, whatever instrument you trade, you must trade it when there's no news around it. Like if you trade AUD, USD during the London session, I used to trade that pair a lot. So I used to trade it during the London session. The reason is because there's no US news and there's no Australian dollar news. That's why I trade the Nasdaq during the London session, because there's no US news or anything fundamentally that can really affect the market. I'll really take the odd trade during the US markets, but that will be when all the news events and everything are over, or at least 2 or 3 hours before the news event, but primarily afterwards. So your whole trading process has to be consistent. You have to trade the same system. Your rules with news, with risk management, with the actual system have to be exactly the same. And try it for a sample size of 20. Take one trade a day based on that same system, whether it's a win or loss, and don't be in a rush, and see if that system actually works for you. Most of the time you'll actually find that the system was profitable. It was just you that gave up on it too quickly. If you're incorporating good risk to reward and cutting those losses early, sticking to 1% or less risk per trade, it's highly unlikely that your system will fail. I mean, I think it was Paul Tudor Jones. He had something like a 5% win rate or a 10% win rate, and the guy was like a billionaire trader with like a 5% win rate. So it's really trading and success in trading, to be really honest with you, all boils down to you and your system, and how consistent you are with that system and how much you stick to it. Because if you look at any business, successful business, they keep employees doing the same thing. They get them doing the same thing every day, operating the same machines or doing the same admin work or doing the same computer systems, doing the same thing every day, because it makes the business efficient and consistent. So become efficient at your process, at your trading system, and become consistent in your processes, and give yourself time. Give yourself 2 years. Trade the same thing over and over again, and because what it does is it builds belief. You need to trade subconsciously, not consciously. Everybody is trading with their conscious mind and not their subconscious. I want to make a video on the difference between the conscious and subconscious mind and how it applies to trading. If you just Google it and read up on what the conscious and subconscious mind is, you'll see that most traders are trading with their conscious mind, which is like the mind that is right here and right now, the mind that we speak with, the mind that creates new thoughts, that interprets new things. But you actually should be trading with your subconscious. Your subconscious is like, when you get into a car, you subconsciously know how to drive it. When you make yourself a cup of coffee, you subconsciously know how to make that cup of coffee. You subconsciously can write, you can write or spell and all those kind of things subconsciously, because these things you've learnt and you trusted them to work. So you need to trade with your subconscious on the system that you're trading. It has to become a system that you believe in. You've got to build trust and belief in the system, and you can only do that by trading it over and over again and subconsciously realizing that it works. You got to do it subconsciously, otherwise you're going to quit strategies and keep failing. It's the same way you trust when you get in your car, that you trust yourself to drive it. You put a belief in it now that it works. It's the same thing with your trading system. But if you keep changing it over and over again, you're literally wasting your time. Another thing that I just want to quickly mention here is that people or traders are too focused on their strategy and like refining their strategy. What you actually got to be doing is that you got to understand that there's 3 pillars to trading. All right. The first pillar is your strategy. The second pillar is your risk management, and the third pillar is your psychology. What happens when you're going into a loss, and also what you do when you're in a winning trade. So traders spend 95% of their time focusing on their strategy and changing their strategy or refining it, and they spend literally like 0 to 5% on their actual psychology and risk management. Now if you look at this, 95% of traders fail, and only between 0 and 5% actually make money. That's because 95% of the time they're spending their time on their strategy and not on their risk management and their psychology. So the biggest tip that I want to give you is that once you've got your strategy, start focusing on spend a third of your time on your strategy, the other third on your risk management, and the other third on your psychology. during drawdowns and during losses and during in your actual trades. And journal your trades. Get a journal and journal your bad habits that you make when you actually and journal the things that are causing you to blow up or causing you to take significant losses. And you'll quickly find out that most of the time it's cancelling your stop loss, and it's holding on to those losses, and it's all got to do with losing, right? So you got to cut those losses early and wait for another quality setup, use risk to reward, and then kill the next trade. So what I'm saying is, once you know your strategy, spend most of your time, spend actually 50% of your time now on your risk management and 50% of your time on your psychology. Master those two things, because you can only do so much with strategy, because the market is random and there's so many participants in the market. The market can go anywhere at any point. There is no 100% system. There is no 90% system. The only way you can make money is by cutting losses early, okay, and using risk management, 1% less per trade, and playing the slight long game. That's just the truth. That's just the honest truth. So spend most of your time on that psychology and that risk management, and stop worrying about strategy and changing strategy, because that obviously is not the answer, and it's never going to be the answer. Your success all lies within your psychology and your risk parameters and your risk management. I hope you guys have a good weekend, or the rest of the weekend. The weekend's nearly over here. It's on Sunday afternoon. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.